think one of the only ways to find peace in life is to understand perspective. Understand the role you play in every situation, understand how you are connected and also disconnected from everything around you. It makes us appreciate our circumstances more and the things that do happen to us and for us every day, because we know it's just part of the plan, man. I think many of us have trouble separating from our struggles and our circumstances because we find ourselves so consumed by just that, circumstance. Circumstance is not designed to define us unless we allow it to. How many times have you heard people say that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it and how you respond? I kind of go by that, you know? I think of life as this beautiful journey, and it's every day we kind of paint this canvas and this mosaic. Usually when you start to paint and you mess up, you paint outside the lines, your brush is here, your brush is there, all these colors all around the place. And when you're so consumed by this one small point, everything seems like a mess. It only makes sense when you get to zoom out and see the entire picture that you understand the masterpiece that you just painted. Perspective helps so much when you're dealing with tough times. I'll be honest with y'all, this past week I've dealt with some crazy stuff, and in situations I'd never seen myself ever being in, but however, here I am, and I've been beating myself up for like 3 or 4 days straight, bro. I promise you I have, and it's really tough to climb up out that hole when you make mistakes. But when I think about the grand scheme of my life, my perspective is, how great is my story gonna be when I make it past this? And I think a lot of us sometimes we forget to have the idea that, man, if we're here right now, if you're watching this right now, I've said this before, you're undefeated. Everybody watching this is undefeated. Think of the worst things life tried to throw at you and you've gotten past all of it, right? Yeah, you're a winner. I'm talking like Floyd Mayweather, like bop, 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 50-0. Life can't knock you down clearly. You gotta act like it. I'm talking to me, I gotta act like it. Cause I swear half the time it's just our judgment of things that makes the thing so traumatic or so painful. And let's be clear. Traumatic things when they happen, no, that's very, very real. What I'm saying is, say like somebody cut you off in traffic or you hit a bunch of red lights. We can easily go into the side and be like, oh my God, I hate this, I hate that, this is annoying, this is that. But we can also be like, man, what am I being protected from? Damn, my flight got delayed, bro. Shoot, I was trying to make it here in time, but maybe that flight I was on was gonna crash, or maybe I was gonna get in a car accident that I avoided. You don't know, bro. You gotta look at life like everything is working in your favor, even the bad things. Cause even what's good and bad inherently, it's subjective, depending on the context of the situation, right? It might have been bad that I broke my hand my senior year of high school, but it was good that I relied on my brain to get me into college. Because when I stopped playing ball, I still had this going on, which was my first priority. It might have been bad that I grew up and knew what it was like to wear my coat in the house and to put water on the stove and boil it to take a bath and all of that, right? It might have been bad that we were on welfare and WIC. It might have been bad that I had to put cardboard in my shoes to cover up the hole. It might have been bad, but it taught me resilience. It taught me gratefulness and gratitude. It taught me appreciation. It taught me work ethic. Taught me focus, taught me discipline. That's what got me here. Without my story being so crazy, I'm not sitting here in front of y'all right now, living where I'm living, doing what I'm doing. I'm not here for that. If everything was lined up perfect and I ain't had that perspective. Yo, when I first moved to Chicago, I was in Lincoln Park, and it bugged me out because Lincoln Park, things happen, right? But Lincoln Park is this picturesque place in Chicago that when I got there, I was envisioning, man, if I was raised here, where would my perspective on the world come from? Where would I learn how to truly fight the adversity? And I'm not discrediting things that go into people's households, but just in general, on a surface level, man, where would my adversity come from? Like growing up, I grew up next to a halfway house, right? I'm used to seeing people who are crack addicts. I'm used to seeing people who are strung out with different drugs and dealing with schizophrenia and fresh out of prison and dope boy on my corner and all that. I was used to that. So for me, going through what I went through, dealing with all these with poverty and different issues and losing people I love, still happening, right? It built me up so much into being who I am, yo. It made me so grateful for everything in life. It made me a go-getter. It made me tough. It made me focused. That's perspective. Because what I chose was, yo, no matter what I'm going through, I'm still me. And I'm a king. And I'm not going to let that define me. Because I'm me. Life can't tell me, I'm me and you're you. When you judge everything that doesn't go your way as a negative thing, you're going to continue to live in negativity. That's just how it works. It's really not complicated, yo. Somebody comes and talks to you and they got an attitude and they being an a-hole and this and that. You can easily get mad and let your day be thrown off. But yo, you gotta understand, your peace and your well-being is way too valuable to spend it on nonsense. When you don't understand perspective, you spend your peace, your energy, and your well-being on nonsense. Things you cannot change. You can only change how you react to it. Old girl dumped you. It sucks. I've been there before. I done had my heart broken multiple times. What you gonna do though? Are you gonna use that and get bitter and start to hate all women and start to try to become this womanizer and conquer them and do this and do that and live with this resentment in your heart forever? Because truth be told, it only eats you up from the inside. Or you're gonna take that, learn from it, take the feedback, say, you know what, how can I be better in the future? How can I build myself up to be a better man so that when the right kind of woman does come into my life, I'm ready for it. And I can lead her and protect her and provide her I'm supposed to. That's what your perspective should be. Accountability is everything. And so I think sometimes when we don't understand perspective, a lot of us lack accountability because it's easy to point the finger. Man, I ain't had this growing up, so that's why I'm like this. I went through this as a kid, that's why I'm like this. Nah, it ain't. Might not be your fault, but it's your responsibility to get that thing fixed. If y'all know me, y'all know I'm big into Stoicism. Shout out to Marcus Aurelius and Zeno and Seneca and all these people, right? Epictetus. So something that they're big on is this thing called the view from above. And it's a meditation practice where you pretty much take yourself outside of yourself to gain perspective and to have a more sober relationship with life and the world and everything going on around you, good and or bad. Essentially, when you're meditating, first you want to envision yourself from the third person point of view. Real close and personal, right? Like literally right outside yourself. If I was to close my eyes and think, I would close my eyes and I would be staring at what's going on right around me. All in the room, right here where I am right now. The next level is like your house, right? You zoom out, you see the house. Next level is like your neighborhood, your city, your state, the country, the world, your content, all of this stuff, right? You zoom out further and further. Now you see the Earth and the solar system, and the Milky Way galaxy. And you zoom out some more, you see the universe. You zoom out some more, you see all of existence, and there's nothing left. Everything that you are, everything that everybody else is, every problem, every triumph is this tiny little thing that really doesn't mean that much. But it does mean so much. Like the fact that our lives are this minuscule in the context of the universe shows how important we are to me. Like that's a big, the universe, out of this vast, ever-expanding universe, somehow, somewhere, there's this little tiny little planet Earth with so much going on, so much beauty, so much accomplishment, achievement, so much overcoming, so many great things. And you get to be a part of that. So when you think about your role in this planet, you might be having the worst day ever, yo. If you could look at the view from above and just think about where it fits into the context of all of this, man. Everybody's playing a role. And when you do this, you also have more grace and compassion for other people, because when you zoom out, you understand, we're all just kind of pieces on this little chessboard of what the world is. The butterfly effect, like everything is interacting with each other in this timeless loop, and it just, every day is more interactions. They just go and go and go. And one day is gonna be your day to have a good day. One day it's gonna pick up, and the next man's gonna have a terrible day. But it always keeps flowing. It's the circle of life, right? It always keeps flowing. There's a guy named Carl Sagan who had this idea of this pale blue dot, is what he called it, the pale blue dot. And the pale blue dot essentially represents Earth in the universe, like I just said. And he speaks about how, everything you know is contained on this tiny little speck in the universe. All your friends, all your family, everybody in love, everybody breaking up, people dying, people being born, animals, rivers, oceans, storms, ships, UFOs, maybe, right? It's all contained on that small blue dot. I think when we realize how unimportant we kind of are in the sense of the universe, it makes us appreciate our circumstances more and the things that do happen to us and for us every day. Because we know it's just part of the plan, man. It's just part of the plan. When I was young, I was taught that I was above no other man and I was below no other man. So no matter where I am in life, financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, I'm not above the man that sleeps on the ground outside, and I'm not below the man that's a billionaire corporation CEO. I'm not. Nobody's above anybody. Nobody's below anybody. We're just here, just experiencing this life thing in whatever way we know how. And we're doing our very best. And when you're having these bad days, when you're struggling with perspective, just remember that you're doing your best and you haven't lost yet. Once again, you have not lost yet. And what helps me is this idea that when it all boils down to it, one day we will return to the earth. And to be honest, we're nothing but worm food anyway. That's all I got for y'all, man. I love you all, and Godspeed.